Hey guys, okay, so I'm filming this on a Monday, but it's a day off of school for my kiddos, and so you may hear them in the background. This is just a disclaimer because I don't know why, like I don't really care, but I feel like I watch a lot of makeup videos and they're always like, I'm so sorry for the noise and blah blah blah. It's like people really care about that. I do not care about that. Even when I'm watching something, I'm not like, what's that noise in the background? Like it doesn't bother me at all, but if it bothers you, that may be happening. Also, there's some construction going on across the street, and so you may hear that like backup beep 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 sound. That is also going on, and I think that's all I have to apologize for today. So all right, so today we're talking about correcting versus concealing. Which one should I do? Okay, so as you guys can tell, and if you've been watching my channel at all, you know that I have severe dark under eyes or under eye circles. A lot of people will call it that, under eye circles. Mine is not just simply a dark under eye based on skin tone. Mine is also melasma or hyperpigmentation. I have got a ton of hyperpigmentation. I always have had this. As I've gotten older, it's gotten progressively worse. And also during my pregnancies, I've had 4 pregnancies, and during that time, like I feel like I had like a bit, like they call it the mask of pregnancy. I had like, it was almost like a butterfly shape. Like it was very much a lot of hyperpigmentation. I feel like since then it's pretty much stayed about the same. I don't think it's gotten any lighter. I feel like some of my videos though, like will show it looking a little bit lighter, and sometimes lighting matters, such as like if I'm outside, it doesn't seem as bad. If I have a little bit of a shade, it just looks worse. Like, I don't know if you can kind of see that. Like if I'm shaded at all, it looks worse. Like if I'm filming in my living room, it looks awful. I mean, it doesn't just look like brown like this, it looks like black, like I have a black eye. So and you'll see also when I get up a little bit closer, I don't know if you can tell, but it will look worse the closer I get to the camera. I don't know if that's true in real life. I feel like it looks, you know, like this in real life, like if you're just talking with me, but I guess I'd have to ask people that just talk with me. One time I sent a picture to my sister though, and she was like, whoa, those under eyes, you look like a dead body. And I was like, yeah, I really do. Like that's why we like makeup sometimes, you know. But on a serious note, I go outside like this and do like a lot of stuff like this, just like this. Like I don't cover this up all the time. I usually will on a Sunday. That's a church day, because it's just kind of weird to be dressed up in your best Sunday clothes and then have like no makeup on, especially if you have like all these flaws to cover up. But I don't care, honestly. I will face the world like this without a care. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of the correct color correctors that I have, and I'll swatch them. Just so we can have, I probably should have swatched them in the first place. Hold on one second, I'll be right back. I'll swatch them all and then we'll talk about it. All right, and we're back. I did forget to mention though, the cat is also a part of this. So the other one already started to sort of act up, so I got rid of her. So, all right, so these are some of the shades of the color correctors that I own. As you can see, they all have this orangey undertone. Now, you might be wondering, well, if you're already orange, why would you put more orange? Well, there's something about these that when you apply them, and I'll do a demonstration in just a minute, but when you apply them, it fools your eye into looking like they're more covered. So that's what, I mean, if you look on like the color wheel for color theory and all that, you'll have colors on opposite sides of the wheel, such as if you have I don't even know, I think blue and orange, yeah, so it's like blue and orange are on opposite sides of the color wheel, so they kind of cancel each other out. That's the theory. So I'm not going to go too much in, and like green and red, I guess we'll talk about that because I know that one for sure. So even, you know, during Christmas time, green and red, they're colors that go together, but they're also colors that kind of cancel each other out. They're on opposite sides of the color wheel. Okay, that's the whole color theory. I'm not going to go into that today because I don't think people really care much about the technicalities of it. They just want to know what's going to work for them. So usually people will say, if you have brown, which this kind of is an orangey brown color, you want to color correct with a pink tone, and that's going to cancel out the brown color. But then you have to go also over that with a skin tone shade to make it all smooth and no obvious like color transition. Like you won't see the pink, you know, if you cover it all with the skin tone at the very end. Same thing like if you have a red spot, which I don't have a lot of red, I got a little bit of red right here. The idea is to cover that with a green, which will cancel out the red, but then you'll have to cover that also, the green, with a skin tone color, or else you'll still see the green. So that means basically you're using two products. So the color corrector, then the concealer or foundation over top, or whatever it is over top, two products. Now for my under eyes, it would have to be this sort of shade. And I've tried every color. I've tried all different shades of color correctors, green, pink, all that stuff. What works best for me with this, what I've got going on, is this sort of a tone, okay? So sort of that orangey or peachy color corrector, okay? So I have got, and in order, this one, I've got the Milani Supercharged, okay, that's this one. I've got the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer, that's this one, and it's a brightener, but it is a little bit of a peachy, I think it's called, well, it just says light. I want to say this was kind of marketed as a color corrector. I'm not positive. I could be wrong. Next one is the Bare Minerals Correcting Concealer in the shade Light 2, which is this one right here. It's a potted one instead of a liquid, okay, or a cream. Next one is the Black Radiance HD Corrector. I think this is, it just says, it doesn't say what it is. It must have been on the package. The outside package, but this is just the peachy one, so it's this one right here. Yeah, you can kind of tell the intensity as far as like how dark or light. And then in the last one, I think I may have a video on this one out already, I'm not positive, but it's the Revolution Beauty, or I think it's Revolution Pro. I have a box for it, here it is. Just Revolution, it doesn't say Revolution Pro. Magic Eye Bright Corrector in the shade Medium to Deep, okay? And that's this one right on top. Okay, now, as far as the texture of these, I'm not really going to get into that today. I will kind of give you a demonstration though about how this is supposed to work. It's gonna be a long video, so you know, you guys just tuck in, okay? So the point being is that you can use any of these, and I think this one would be good. Like these two would be really good for me to use to try and counteract this. This one might be a little bit too dark. This might be a little too dark. This might be a little too dark. It just depends. A lot of times you just have to try it, but I have found that because I'm so dark, I need sort of a medium. So the medium to deep, like this one, should be good. But when I tried this, it was actually a little too dark to really make much of a difference. And also the coverage it didn't really show up much at all. And again, I'm hoping that this isn't a spoiler. I should have a full review on this particular product. Okay, so you have to find a shade that is, the intensity is right, okay? I find that the best way to do this, as far as like color correcting, is to just use a concealer, a regular old concealer that can do the job of the color corrector and the concealer in one step. So you don't have to put the color corrector on and then put a regular concealer on over top. So what I have been using the most within the past year is this concealer right here, which is the Kylie Skin Concealer. And let me just show you, and I'll give you a swatch of the shade so you can kind of see the idea of it, okay? The tone of this does the same as these. So it's sort of like a mixture of my skin tone, which is remarkably fair, and then a color correcting shade, okay? So these two might work, even though, because they are specifically color correctors, so like the shade of these would work with just one product. So if I tried one of these, I may have to put another concealer on top. But if I use a shade like this, or one of these two, still a color corrector, these two are. This one's just a regular concealer though. So, well, I guess what I'm trying to say in the end is you don't have to buy specifically a color corrector even if you're trying to color correct. You can just use a concealer that is the same shade as a color corrector, but it can do the job of both products in one step. So you don't have like just a cake of makeup on your under eye, okay? So, and I'll show you this real quick so we can kind of get an understanding, okay? I'm gonna use this one. This is the Black Radiance, and we're gonna put on this eye. I'm just gonna show you what I'm talking about. This is very difficult because the tube is just weird. Now you can kind of see, like on my hand, that's this one. It looks so crazy, like the color looks crazy, but once it's here, you can see how like your eye is kind of fooled. And you're like, oh, that's gonna cover pretty decently. So we'll just go ahead and blend it out. And usually I'll use a brush or my finger for the most part. I don't normally use a sponge because I just find that that will take away coverage. But you can see already we're having some effect here. And I feel like that's blending out pretty good, but you can tell, like if I was gonna use this just as part of my routine, my makeup routine, I would either have to do this before foundation and then just really very lightly tap over my eye area with the foundation, or I would have to also use a concealer on top because this is very obviously not the right shade. Now, if I was gonna do a no makeup day where I just needed a little bit of something to kind of brighten this and make it look just not as bad as this eye, I might be able to get away with this because of it would just kind of blend in with all the pigmentation that I already have and make it look almost kind of like she's not wearing any makeup. Okay, but it's still make my eyes look less as dragged down and tired and just scary looking, you know what I'm saying? And that concealer is very creamy, so I feel like using your finger and even a sponge might work for that one specifically. Okay, so that's that. Now let me give you a little bit of a demonstration with my favorite concealer for color correcting that I've been using for quite a while, the Kylie Skin. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know that this has been a favorite of mine for quite a while. Okay, can you see how like this has just got it's a bit peachier. It's not as, and even on my skin, like against these, this is the Kylie one and this is the one I just used. So against that one, it's not gonna look, it's gonna look quite a bit different. But on my face, with all my discoloration, it's looking a little bit brighter and a little bit peachier. And because this one is much thinner, more of a liquid concealer, less of a cream, the other one was more of a cream. Can you see the difference? This is a little bit brighter. Now what I'll have to worry about with a shade like this though is because it's a little bit lighter, it might tend to make my under eyes look a little bit gray. Okay, if you have a bit of hyperpigmentation or something that you're trying to cover and the shade is too light, a lot of times it will make that look gray, which will not make it look better at all. So I could use a skin toned concealer to try and cover this up, but it won't look good because it'll still make that look like a little bit of a black hole. Like it'll still be gray, it'll still look off, like it'll just be like a lighter shade. What will end up looking like is like I have lavender underneath my eyes, and that's not really what I'm going for. I'm going for more of making it all look seamless, like it's all one tone, one skin tone. And then if I want to add color to my face, then that's when I'll put on a blush or a bronzer or an eyeshadow, but not under here. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking to make it look as seamless as possible. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, just to kind of, you know, give the full effect, is I'm going to put that same concealer, the Kylie one, over this eye, and we'll see like what sort of a difference it makes. Okay, a lot brighter now, and see that looks a little bit better than this eye even. But we're talking about more product, okay? If I was just doing this for real, like if I was actually trying to make myself done up with makeup, I would already have had my foundation on, which is one layer of coverage, and then I would put the concealer over top, the Kylie one, which serves to color correct and conceal with one product, and then I would have this sort of a look without having to use color corrector, concealer, and foundation. Now, admittedly, regardless, for me, it will be 2 layers of product, regardless. But if I used a color corrector as well, it would be 3 layers, okay? Because that's how I do my makeup. Now, if you are willing to you know, do your foundation and keep your complete eye area separate from no pigment, no product on it at all, and then do the 2-step of the concealer, that's up to you. I'm just saying, for me, I like to use one product to do the job of 2 products. So basically, it's all about the shade. Color correctors, it's all about the shade. You don't even, like, even if you're trying to color correct, you do not have to get a specific color corrector. You just need a concealer that's one of these shades. And it depends on your skin tone. It depends on what you're trying to cover. A lot of people that are fair skin like me will have more of a bluish undertone right under here, and that's what they're trying to counteract. So you might use like a yellow. This one's a bit more yellowy, and I'll show you, to do something like that. You could also even still use the orangey color corrector for a blue under eye, okay? But there's the yellow. You see how much yellower, like, yeah, so it's, and this is not a color correcting concealer. This is just a concealer. I found that at TJ Maxx. So I feel like if you're looking to color correct, go find you an inexpensive concealer that is in the shade that you think might be the shade to color correct, and find an inexpensive one. This is the LA Colors Ultimate Cover Concealer. This is a more matte concealer, so this is going to give you a matter look, but because of the shade, I'm able to use it as a color corrector as well. Now I know it doesn't look like it, you know, as I say, oh no, that's okay. Trust me, I've already tried this several times and it does work as a color corrector. It tends to oxidize, so it gives me that orangey look, which is going to counteract the orangey. Even though it's still orangey, I understand. Look, I just trust me on this, okay? So find yourself an inexpensive concealer. I also do really like the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. And you can see even there, like this shade is light peach. It's starting to separate, and you can see that peachy undertone that it has. The only problem is this is just a tad too light. I'll give you a swatch. So it will make my under eyes look a little bit gray. See how much lighter that is than the Kylie one, which is right here. You see what I'm talking about? Okay, so it's all about shade. It's not about, I've had people in my comments, you gotta correct first, you're not correcting. Well, maybe I am correcting, it's just not with a color corrector. Ever think of that? So anyway, sorry to get a little bit triggered, but it's just frustrating when you're trying to give information out and people are not understanding you. So, all right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that answered the questions, color correcting, concealing, which one should I do, all that. I hope that answered all your questions. So please don't forget to thumbs up, like, subscribe, ding my bell, leave any more questions or comments that you may have in the description, in the comments. And if you guys would be interested in me like doing a full face, like, and kind of showcasing how I would use these products in order to color correct and conceal at the same time, let me know. I've got a ton of get ready with me videos, and those all also show that in action. But if you want more, let me know and I will get right on top of that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.